We're sitting here with the legend. This man has not only acted amongst the greats and been around icons like, you know, Vincent Price, but he had his humble startings. It all started with the Women's Club and his time there. Let's welcome G. Larry Butler.
Hey, I'm still alive, still breathing.
How you doing? Do I
Well,
call you? Do I
great.
call you G or Larry or G Larry or?
Just don't call me late for dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, Eric Roberts called me G. Said, "Hey G, how you doing?" So anyway, what for the last? So I guess that's
See, I thought about that.
G.
When I
I
first met you, I thought, is it G or Larry?
well, there's a story.
I forgot.
Do you know the story behind
No,
how
tell the story.
my stage name? When I came to
No, no.
Hollywood from Colorado, I joined SAG up there as Larry Butler. And when I got here, they said, "You can't own that name." What do you mean I can't own that name? Well, it's because Willie Nelson's band leader is named Larry Butler. He owns the name. I mean, oh my God. So in those days, you couldn't own a name if somebody else had it. So you had
Oh,
you had
yeah.
yourself something like Tab Hunter or some stage name. And I thought, I'm not doing that. And I thought, well, my first name's George. And what if I just shorten it to G? And then everybody will have to call me G, Larry Butler. And so I told my agent, he said, I love it. I love it. We're going with that. So it's been G, Larry Butler ever since. So people
Wow.
find me easy on a list. They look for that G. All the casting directors tell me that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people always ask me, it gets a little intrigue, what's that G stand for? Well, it could be gruesome, depending on if a horror movie. It's or goofy if I'm doing a comedy, but they don't really like that. No, what is it really? So I tell them the story. But anyway, that's basically it. And so I stuck. And now they do by numbers. If there's many Larry Butlers, they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't like that because people are getting my credits. I get some of theirs. It gets all mixed up. There's no G. Larry Butler in the world. I'm the only one. There is a guy.
It's weird.
It works for me.
I got credit for a movie too that I didn't do. Well, like a little short. It's like,
What
right?
is that?
It's Jeff Dickinson, but not me. It's like something about the house. And I'm like, what? Because it's on my IDMB. I told them, like, take it off. But it's there. They're not removing it. It's been years.
Well, as long as you get the residuals, right?
Yeah. Right.
I think I'm just getting credit.
I'm still getting
no one's owning up to anything outside of it's still Jeff. But and I was like, did I audition for something and forgot about it? Was that memorable?
those residuals are nice, even if they're a couple of cents. I get residuals from Perry Mason sometimes. I did that over 40 years ago. And I got to 2 cents once. It cost them more to cut the check and mail it to me than I got. So it's crazy. But I'll take it. I framed that one.
What you got to do is roll that 2 cents into something else, into another investment that gets 4 cents return. And soon in the year 2085, you'll be a billionaire.
Ah, God, I don't know. I don't
Well,
think so.
Gee, last time we spoke to you, you were playing Santa Claus for us.
Oh, you let the
Oh,
cat
wow.
out of the bag. Don't tell the kids that. Oh,
Well,
they're
they're
Yeah,
still.
the
Let me
parent.
tell you something. Nobody in the family watches this, so I can tell the family secrets from now until Kingdom Come, and they still
Oh.
won't get out because no one I don't have one family member who's a subscriber to this thing. So we're
That's a
going to
good.
keep it that
Am
way.
I your only subscriber?
Yeah, we have one subscriber, and it's Jeff.
Wow.
And you know what? I watched that video a few times. I enjoy it.
I played it back over Christmas,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
and
Santa.
it goes back up every Christmas.
he can come back sometime if you want him. He's I
Is
know.
that the most iconic character you ever played?
Uh, Probably. Yeah. I think that
Or
one
infamous,
is
I guess.
iconic. It's universal. But I've played some other ones. I recently played John Carpenter. He's kind of like a Santa of the horror films, and
Yeah.
you know, I actually imitated him pretty well. I impersonated him. I had the Fu Manchu mustache. I had the ponytail. Had the whole thing, and I studied his mannerisms, his voice. I had the tonality down. I had all his little peccadillos, like little quirks and stuff, and his affinity for the hashish, and the whole bit.
Yeah.
Oh my
Let's
God!
hear it. Let's hear your
Is that for
best
a
impression.
movie?
It's for a movie called Skate to Hell. It's a kids movie, and it was kind of like a cheat you a little bit, but it was a little weird. It was a guy named Robert DeSardo playing the devil, if you're familiar with his work, and then a guy that Mason Reese or something like that. He's pretty famous. A very short guy. He did a lot of stuff in the 80s, and he played the devil on Earth. When the devil comes from hell, he changes his appearance. And so I had some scenes with him, and I had a lot of different scenes. I was the director directing a movie. So it was a movie within a movie, one of those things.
That's
Mhm.
cool.
And it's coming out soon. But, and that's the one. Not with Eric, but Eric and I did one called Desert Fiends, and we're doing the sequel in about a month or so. Desert Fiends 2. So Eric Roberts, he found out I was working with his sister on a TV series called.
That was a good part.
Yeah, really.
You had that scene right there. That's part of your reel. It's excellent. I love that scene.
Yeah, that was a strange morning. Um, I'll tell you a little tale about myself. I'm a diabetic, so I have to eat in order to have memory, right? And it was 7 o'clock in the morning. It was an early call. Nothing was open. It was during COVID. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. And I got the Universal. And I thought, well, craft service will have something. I'll get some food before I go on. And in my trailer, there was a knock on my door. Knock, 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 knock. And come on, get out. You got to go right now. We're going to jump in the golf cart and I'll take you over to set. So I left my jerky, my emergency food, my jerky and nuts and stuff, which I need for my memory and for my diabetes, in the trailer. So I get over to set. There's no food. So here comes Julia Roberts. I went, oh my God. Hi, I'm Julia. Start talking. And then they go right into it. I've got about 8 lines. And so I got about 5 of them out, and I couldn't remember anymore for the life of me. And I didn't have any notes or anything. Julia, I'm really sorry. I'm diabetic. I have not eaten today. There is no food here. Get this guy some food, God damn it. She was screaming at people. She's the executive producer.
Oh my.
Funny. And everybody scatters like a chicken with their heads cut off, and they got me food. And like a few minutes later, I was fine. I got the last 3 lines out, and you never would have known the difference. So they got a lot of close-ups, so they wouldn't have known. It wasn't like a 2-shot. It was like me and her and me and her. And so, but I was so terrified they wouldn't even want to put that in. And she hugged me when we finished. She said, it's not your fault. We should have had food for you. I'm sorry. So they knew.
That's cool. She did that.
Yeah. So anyway, but then I did a recording session with her later, about a couple weeks later, and everything was fine. I was just so terrified I wasn't going to be in the series at all. And but no, they should have food for their actors. And I tell directors all the time, these young guys, they don't know nothing about feeding actors. I said, if your actor doesn't know his lines, don't yell at him or her, feed them. And then, it'll counteract the adrenaline, robbing their memory from their brain. And it works. It really does. It's amazing. I just did something, it's a Mohall production. It was a science fiction film called The Alien Horde. And I was the only one that wasn't going line, 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 line. I had mine perfectly. And of all of the 100 people in that room that were talking back and forth, I was the only one that was perfect every time. And so they complimented me later. They said, "Wow, you're a great actor. You must do a lot of theater," because I was, projecting my voice in a big room like that. You have to. It was like the size of a stadium almost. That room, and there were a lot of different actors, and I got compliments from Jimmy Duvall. I got somebody, I can't remember his name exactly, but he was the Russian in Hunt for Red October with Harrison Ford. Koloff, he's a Russian guy. And he was saying, "Wow, you're great." And so I was like, I can die now. Finally some recognition after 40 years. It's the craziest thing because, I struggled for the first 30.
Yeah.
And now finally, for every wrinkle, I get a part. And I always make sure I do my very best to do it 100%. And that brings me something else. And you've got to actually show a little passion in your work. And I'm method. And so I use real emotions, whereas most actors just say their lines. And I don't go for that. You've got to really.
That's what I appreciate about you.
Well, I just always have been that way. I don't know any other way. And I want to make people cry. I want to make people laugh. I scare the hell out of other actors I'm in a scene with because I tell them, I use real emotion, buddy, so watch it. Bring your A game. It's like playing tennis with a tennis pro. You don't want to lob it because they're going to shove it down your throat. And so that's the way I am. And I won't change. And they always appreciate it. The director does anyway. But so
you mentioned
that's what I appreciate about you.
Perry
I'm
Mason
sorry, John.
40 years ago.
I say that again, John.
You mentioned Perry Mason before.
Yeah, back in
what was your first role that you ever got?
My very first one when I was first movie. Well, I played an extra, and
this is a story I like.
Kevin Costner was in. It was a bicycle movie, and Chong, the daughter of Cheech and Chong, was in it. I can't remember the name of that thing, but right after that, I got a part in a movie with John Denver. I play the clumsy pedestrian who falls into him, and I do a cavalry officer with Richard. Can't remember his name exactly. Richard Chamberlain, called Dream West up in Leadville in Colorado, and then I did something with Perry Mason. I did a speaking part with a man. Oh God, if I can remember his name. He was the editor of a Scandal magazine, and I tell him about my cow who'd seen some UFOs and something like that, and he just kind of looks at me like you're crazy. And so, but things like that. It would start small, and then it got better and better and better as I went along. But with Perry Mason, I had a role in the courtroom where I was a really kind of an angry viewer, and it was more of a featured extra part. But then later on, something interesting in that first movie I did, I was sitting next to some screen legends. Gene Barry. There were two Gene Barrys. I don't know if they did that deliberately or not. I had the man Gene Barry who played the part called Bat Masterson, and it was on TV. And also the female Gene Barry, who actually played the wife of Kirk Douglas in Spartacus.
Hmm.
Both
See, that's the
scenes
one I know.
together. I was sitting next to her. She was smoking. She caught her nylon or some kind of sheer dress on fire. Her legs were burning, and I put them out with my hands. And because of that, no cameras were allowed. I mean, no pictures. You couldn't ask for a picture. And so they decided, because I did that I was to get a picture with them. So I gave my camera to another actor, and the jerk actually shook the camera, so it was all fuzzy. And when I got home, I realized that, because it was just a regular camera. It wasn't a cell phone back then. It was in the mid '80s. So anyway, he
Can we
got my picture of it.
segue to the women's club? I want to hear that story.
Okay, the women's club. Um,
That was held as your first in 1985.
the women's club. Yeah, we're going back a long way now.
He co-starred with Maud Adams.
Yeah, no, I got it. I'm just waking up from a nap.
You can't forget Maud Adams.
I need my coffee.
That was where I was going with all this. Let's hear about Maud Adams.
Wow, you blew me away on that one. The women's club. I know I've heard that name. Yeah, that was my very first one where I had a co-starring role. That one was we shot it in '85, but they say '86 because it didn't come out until then. But we shot it in Colorado. And when I did the audition, my agent was in the room. And then also the director who was playing casting director. Sometimes they do that. They're both. And she was interviewing me a little bit. And I was very friendly with her. And I said, "Oh, are you going to try some skiing while you're up here?" And my agent says, "Larry, you're no chit chat. Just go to the audition." But anyway, the agent seemed to like that I was friendly and, not nervous.
Nice.
And so I did my audition, and I actually got the role. And it was my first co-starring role. Actually, not my first speaking role, but anyway, it was an amazing event because everybody in town wanted that role. And the reason,
and you got it.
The story behind it was that the guy that was supposed to play the role was named John Candy. You're familiar with him?
The John Candy?
Really big.
Wow.
I was not big at the time.
That's heavy.
And I got heavy later. But they asked me, John Candy bailed on this role. Could you please gain about 30 to 50 pounds? I said, "Well, how much time do I have?" "Oh, you got a month." So thank God for pizza and beer. So I got the 30 pound. I got went on 30 pound. I was 175 and I went up to 205. And I never took it off. And so when I got to Hollywood, I put on even more. I got up to 240. My agent says, "I don't care how fat you get, because you're funny looking and you're going to get a lot of roles." And thanks a lot, guy. It took me years to lose that 80 pounds. Now I'm down to 160, but thank God for diabetes. Anyway, but so I was on set. Yeah, I was on set with a guy named Eddie. My mind is going south on me.
Okay. We don't have to get the full names.
Yeah, no. Give me a second.
We got Eddie. Let's roll with it.
Michael Pere from Eddie and the Cruisers.
Yeah.
He was a heartthrob. The women were fainting at his feet. It was a little embarrassing, but everybody was in love with him. But so he was the main guy. He was a screen actor. He was a script. He wrote scripts. Script writer. What do you call it? Screenplay guy. Yeah. Anyway, he couldn't sell his scripts, so he became a prostitute.
That sounds familiar.
A necessity. Are you a prostitute, Jeff? No,
not yet. I might have to in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah. Anyway, but call me if you need. I've got some people out here.
Oh Lord.
Anyway,
you got connections
for the wrong.
So anyway, it was a comedy. It was a comedy, and the director possibly was really horny. Who knows? but I won't tell you her name. But she was one of the Weintraubs, which is a very powerful group out here. She was the ex-girlfriend of Martin Scorsese. And so I was with some powerful folks. And so she was directing it. Now, Maud Adams was fresh off of Octopussy, James Bond.
Yes.
So she was the other co-star. And then Eddie Velez was the third co-star. He was fresh off of A-Team. He was the latest member of A-Team. I don't know if you remember that far back.
Oh, God.
And then myself. And I'm an unknown. And I'm with these other three people. And it's like, this, I couldn't believe my luck. And I was holding my own. I was pretty good. And also my first acting teacher was in it. He played the small part. And so he was really proud of me. And it was a great moment, to get started with. But, that's a heck of a way to launch your career.
Hello. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Maud Adams, what is your personal opinion about her, besides she being drop dead gorgeous hot?
Well, she had trouble kind of getting into character. I'm not going to say too much because she's probably still alive. I don't want to say it.
Watching Geek and I. That's awesome. Maud, we'll bring you along. We'll do a Q&A.
You never want to meet your heroes, because they turned out to be human after all. So it's like, okay. So that was my first experience with that. And but we got through our scenes okay. I mean, they worked. And then I had a lot of other ones. I was basically by myself a lot because I was tailing this guy for Scandal magazine. The editor was my first acting teacher. He told me to go out and spy on these guys and find out, what this guy was doing. Actually, instead of writing scripts, he was actually a prostitute for this women's club. It was an all-female club, and they passed him around, and he got money for it. And so, I mean, I don't know if you could make a script, you make a movie on that anymore if people would allow it. No. Censors.
Well, The White Lotus is close enough, right?
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, it probably would work. But
I haven't seen it. I'll just speculate.
So anyway, we could segue to the Double D after that if you want. But that one,
yes,
I'm not sure if we could ever make today, because it's a spoof on Wonder Woman, but it's how it was done. It was about a woman who fights crime with her breasts. She knocks people out with her chest. And I don't know.
Segue to the trailer,
but
dive in.
People love it. And
you want to do that?
Do you have a trailer on it,
John? I sent you the trailer.
I don't have it.
Oh
no,
you can see it right here. This is the box set here. This is Double D Avenger. She gives tit for tat. And they wouldn't even let me sell this on Amazon when I first tried it. They said, "Oh, you can't have tit in there." It's like it's an expression, idiot. It's not actual tit. It's like the box, the back of it right here, and it pretty much tells the story. But I've got a few hundred of these if anybody's interested.
Well, we're going to tell the boys and girls about how to score not only the movie, but little cool stuff you have to show once we show you the trailer.
Okay.
And then we'll dive in. That way you have a frame of reference.
But if you want to hear the story of how I was hired to do that, that's an unbelievable quick little story I could tell.
I definitely want to dive into that, Plus,
this
you
is
were
really
around a lot of
my
cool
favorite
kicks.
story of all time. This is when I first came to Hollywood. I'd only been here, a few years probably. There used to be something called a drama log. It was a newspaper for actors. This was before, the internet took over.
Yeah.
And they digitalized everything.
It was like a trade paper, right?
Yes, trade paper. And I saw in there, it says, okay, we're looking for a Jackie Gleason look-alike. A look-alike, act-alike, sound-alike. I thought, I love Jackie Gleason, one of my all-time favorite actors. And I could imitate him pretty well. In fact, I did in a couple other independent movies. And I thought, I could do this. I don't have a chance because Hollywood, I was still kind of in awe of the people here because they're so talented. I don't have a chance to actually get the role, but I'm going to go over there and just see how I stack up. So I dressed all in purple because the character's name was Al Purplewood, which is kind of a euphemism for something else, which I won't explain. My your audience, but anyway,
we'll pop up a emoji.
Some of the guys out there probably use that word. Oh, they know what it means. But anyway, it's kind of like a double entendre. But anyway, so I went into purple, and at the time there was a guy named John Madden, who, if you follow sports at all, you know who he is. And he was pretty crazy, and
he was crazy guy.
Funny, very funny to watch. And he'd throw his script up in the air. I thought, holy Christ, what if I did that? And I did it on a Ford commercial once, and I got a national spot out of it. I'm the guy that jumped through the poster, of the Ford car. And so anyway, but I went in there, threw my script in the air. YouTube. Yeah. William Winkler, who I call Bill, was sitting in a chair, leaning back, just kind of a regular metal chair. And when he saw me do that, he started laughing as hard as he could. He fell over flat on his back. And I went over to help him up. And he said, "You're the funniest son of a bitch I ever met in my life." I don't know if I can use profanity here on the show or not.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I'll say, okay. So he told me that. He says, "You're the funniest son of a bitch I ever met in my life. I got 2 guys coming for callbacks tomorrow, but fuck them. You got the job." Well, oh my God. Because I knew the script by heart. I didn't need the script. I just threw it up in there, went all over the room, flipped together. So I had to pick it up later, but I didn't mind because I got the job. So
right.
Anybody want to make a mark in this world, you got to get their attention, make them look up from their lunch. Some of them don't even look up because they got on a video, and it pissed me off a lot of times because I come in and trying to go back and forth and work and do this audition, and the guy wouldn't even look up at me. I'm like, how do I get their attention?
Well, it's kind of like what's that Robert Downey Jr. movie, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, where he's a thief and he accidentally stumbles into a casting call, and they're looking for somebody with feeling, and he was just witnessed his co-thief get killed, and now that he's acting but not acting, and gets their attention, and they look up from the table and they're like, "You got the job."
Oh God, that's funny. That's really funny. Yeah, it's like an inside.
So what for this video, the Double D Avenger, memorable stories do you have from set?
Yeah, we had a little not really serious. Well, Bill might want to tell you himself, but there was some problems on the set. We did have are you still with me? Oh, yeah. Now, we had the Russ Meyer group, and some people might not know what that means. There was a guy named Russ Myers back in the 60s, 70s, 80s that had a stable of strippers, and some of the best strippers in the world. And his favorite was Kitten Natividad. That right there. You can see it. She's with Bill Winkler right there. He plays a cafe owner, and then she plays actually it's her club, but he works with her. And
well, let's watch the trailer.
Okay,
let's check it out, John.
Shock. Nothing you have ever seen, nothing you have ever felt could prepare you for this colossus of entertainment. A motion picture so gigantic in scope, it dwarfs every wonder the screen has ever shown before. William Winkler Productions presents The Double D Avenger. Starring Kitten Natividad, star of Russ Meyer's Beneath the Valley of the Ultra Vixens. Haji, star of Russ Meyer's Faster Pussycat, Kill, Kill. Raven Delacroix, star of Russ Meyer's Up, and new super stacked titillating talent. Plus a special appearance by cult movie legend Forrest J. Ackerman. All together in an incredibly sexy live action comic book adventure. William Winkler's The Double D Avenger. The bra-busting movie masterpiece of all time. Dynamic action, spectacular thrills, fantastic beyond comprehension, astounding beyond belief, boobs aplenty. Nothing the screen has ever shown can surpass the ample portions of this movie. You will be amazed when Chastity Knot, also known as the Double D Avenger, discovers the magical Crocozilla plant. You won't believe your eyes witnessing Chastity's new superhuman powers. You will boo the sinister, ruthless Al Purplewood and his...
So how do you get through a scene like this?
Great pleasure, actually.
A lot of food.
I was too late.
There you go.
How many takes did you do for this?
Well, actually, the girls kept telling me, harder, harder. What's wrong with you?
Oh God.
Because I wasn't really laying it on. And finally,
There
okay,
you go.
you want it,
Look
honey?
at that, Jerry.
So then I started spanking a lot harder, but they didn't.
How
weren't-
old were you?
How old was I?
Yeah.
About 50 something.
Buxom villainous strippers. Chills will run down your spine in the terrifying chamber of horrors. Be mesmerized by the pandemonium unleashed in the lingerie store. There's also romance. Don't miss the Double D Avenger. Tumultuous, spectacular battles of gigantic proportions, menacing melons, mile-a-minute car chases, hair-raising escapes, over 18 boobs in this colossal show. You'll see it all. Kitten Natividad, Haji, Raven Delacroix, together again in an all-new, never-to-be-forgotten motion picture more fantastic and cantilevered than any they've ever done. A new high in big movies.
They had me at 18 boobs.
Yeah.
Hey, G there. I want to go on the record here. If there's a sequel, I want to be in it.
All right.
I would have to be a big part, but
I don't
somewhere
want
around the D size.
I don't want to tip my hand, but I think there might be one in the making. But not next year.
I'm available.
Bill Winkler now is writing books all about the Double D Avenger. He's got 5 of them.
Wow.
What happened later. And I'm still in prison. Remember, I got put away.
Yep.
So, and that would explain my weight loss because the food sucks in prison.
Spoiler alert, guys.
Come out 25 years later, I'm going to escape maybe. But I can't say too much, but he's got some plans.
Yeah.
And so anyway, you guys.
I would love to be in it with you if you don't mind.
He'd be
That'd be
glad to have you join us.
So this is
I wouldn't charge
20, almost 25 years old now.
25 next year, and that's when we're hoping he wants at least a limited release in theaters, and so he's considering it. And up until this point, he just says no, absolutely not. I don't want anything to do with it. So, and then I think he's still in love with the whole concept because he's written 5 books, which are pretty popular, and he's selling them on Amazon. And there's a tie-in to some of the clips he shows on his website. And so anyway, I think it's a possibility that this may happen in the near future. And I know a lot of people would like to see it because it's funnier than hell. It really is.
I would. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a movie that you just can sit back and have a beer with, and laugh your ass off. We did it. We showed it in Oakland, California, and the people up there were just going crazy because they served beer. One of the first movie theaters that served alcohol, and people were going crazy. They loved it, and it was a riot. So anyway, but I don't know if you could show it to your family, but it's not a family film, but it's mostly for
my family.
Depends on the family.
I have a weird family, I guess.
That's right.
And if you want to talk to them anymore.
Yes. So anyway, but if people take it in the right, spirit, it's just for fun. It doesn't
Yeah,
need
it's
anything.
supposed to be fun.
If anything, it's a woman's power film about
Hmm.
the Avengers, like a Wonder Woman.
That was my take.
And so
I
the
was
power.
like, before Marvel and Avengers, these are the real Avengers.
So anyway, it's very unique, and people have loved it. It's got over 85% approval rating. Um, so they took a poll, and people really love that type of comedy. It's like a throwback
Hmm.
back to the day. And he made it with that in mind. He did 2 features. The other one was Frankenstein versus the Creature from Blood Cove, which is a homage to the
You're in
30s
that one.
monster movies. Yeah, he likes classic monsters. So this was kind of like the 50s type of movie, the Double D. So he likes doing the retro stuff, and he may do a few more. And
Yeah, like you said, it's kind of like looks like Batman or Wonder Woman, and the music in the trailer
From that era.
uh, actually sounds like Wonder Woman.
yeah, it really
It did
is.
kind of,
It's just very
but that was popular at the time.
exciting and humorous, and even they had some famous people like Forrest J. Ackerman. My God, he invented the term sci-fi. He had the sci-fi magazine. He had
Yeah.
Hollywood Monsters magazine.
Mhm.
What it's called.
I love that magazine. They went behind the scenes, and I love hearing behind the scenes stuff, which is why I enjoy talking to you because you have a lot of cool stories. I'm waiting for a book. The
Everybody
Life
wants
of Times.
a book. I could write a book my whole life, but that would take several books probably. My lunatic life, and
Well, you do have one. It was called Madness.
Oh, Here
No.
Lies Madness. That was a book of
Yes,
poetry.
that was a beautiful book. I love that.
Well,
That you know.
I need to explain that. That's also for
Mhm.
sale if you want to sell that one. But I stopped it because Ex Libris stole it from me, and so I got it back, and I'm reproducing it now, a different publisher. But that one was when I was a psychiatric social worker. I had a caseload of a lot of people that had perverse perspectives on life. And I don't want people to think those are my ideas necessarily. I just capture them in poetry, but they're kind of like story poems, which are unlike anything you've ever read in your life. Some of them imitate Dostoevsky, some of them Frost, some of them E. E. Cummings, all the famous poets. I did it in different styles, but they're kind of
Maybe
sharp.
that's why I was so attracted to it because I could way you wrote it was so beautiful. God bless you.
Well, I did that. Thank you, Jeff. But I did that because a lot of people associate poetry with hearts and flowers and butterflies, and
Yeah,
I don't do that. Mine's
not
very,
my stuff.
very brutal, very in the gut. Right? You're like somebody punched you in the
Yes,
gut.
honest.
Like, wow. But it tells the truth about life. All the forms of madness we take for granted. It's like, yeah, this is pretty crazy, and all the different things. But anyway, I don't know if you have one, John. I should send one to you. If you don't,
I do
Well,
not.
okay, I'll send one to you. So I've got
Well, let's
your.
tell people what we can do here, because G. Larry's not only going to he's been sharing his stories with us, but he has this wonderful package he's going to put together. But he's going to highlight individually, currently what we are going to have on the Geek and I website for sale. Right, John?
Yeah, and it's
Some of the things I can reproduce these very easily. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
so that's the film, and you do have it
Geek and I. Yep.
up for grabs, and you said there's a limited amount.
Yeah, I have a few hundred for sale, and I thought that was a pretty good price. I could autograph it for you, and if you prefer, I won't do that. But please make that selection known to John and Jeff. So we'll have that option available
Well,
either way.
what I'll do is I will put this one, and I will put an unsigned version up also. So and then if there's another package you want to put together with more items in it, I can also add that. If you want to put a signed headshot or
I got all those
anything
things
like that in there, we could do that also.
I'll send you a package in the mail, and then you'll have it. But there are several things I can do. I can show you some of the things now if you want. But
yes, let's see that.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that Double D is shrink wrapped. It's never been opened. It's got the plastic on it. It's virgin, so there's no marks on it of any kind. It's kind of like a proof coin, if you will. And here's a picture of myself and the girls. There's Haji right here. There's
move it higher.
Higher. I'm sorry.
There you go. Perfect.
And you can see some of the girls. And I do have another one not on me. I have it on my wall that I can actually reproduce of Kitten and myself. She's dressed as a Double D, and I'm trying to strangle her from behind. So that's a great picture too. So I do have the.
All right, John. I know you want to.
I have these things. I also have the script available if you want that. We'll talk about that. This is a little ratty.
Cool.
You can have these reproduced.
Well, that's your personal.
That's my
script, right? For this.
You can tell that but most of the side is fine. And so I can have those reproduced. I know a friend of mine from The Exorcist, Eileen Dietz, does that. She sells her script. And I thought that's a great idea. So anyway, there's several things I can do with these. What else I have? But I have probably some pictures of the set when we were actually shooting it. And we have a lot
behind the scenes.
A lot of stories from the set. We filmed on a nude beach, and all the guys were walking by us while we were filming naked, and that was a little embarrassing. But Bill thought it was you.
I just want to work on the day you can have the chicks, okay? just to clarify, man.
Yeah, well, yeah, that would be great.
But I'm pretty proud of John holding back the jokes. He's been snickering there.
We just had so much fun making it. There was some frustration, of course. There is on every set. A little friction. We had to make up people who were a little slow getting the girls ready and the monsters ready and all that. But
any cat fights between the girls?
Yeah, I won't tell anything about that.
Oh
no, I mean they were. Some of them were self-centered, like
You don't say.
I mean, they were like world class strippers, and Haji was very famous, and his Kitten as well, even more famous. And Raven de la Croix, she played the doctor in this. She had her clothes on, but she didn't. The rest of it. And they really, there was no nudity, and some people were upset with it. They thought it was supposed to be.
They thought it was a soft porn, probably.
It was not meant to be soft porn, but it was just like what do you call it? What's even less than soft porn? Kind of a
that spanking scene you just did.
Just to get guys excited. There's a word for it, but I can't remember. A teaser film type of thing. It was a bikini film.
Yeah,
they never took tops off. And people were, slamming Bill like, "Why did you do that?" He said, "Well, I didn't want to make a porn film or soft porn or any of that.
Yeah.
It's just
you have a rep.
It's just a parody.
A parody."
Yes.
So, but I mean,
that's what makes it enjoyable and fun, because it is a parody. That's how I took it.
Yeah. So anyway,
I can see how it could be taken the other way.
He even had me do some audio stuff, like my favorite lines in the movie, like "You're a bunch of protuberant idiots," and things like that, or "Someone up there hates me," that kind of stuff, and memorable lines from the movie. You can put that in a package, But
A lot of people may not know you're also a voice actor. You've been in Japan doing stuff, right?
that's why I got the most job for that TV series called The Lakers, the winning time for the Lakers. So
yes, another fine show.
I out of everybody in Hollywood that went up for it, I got it. And the biggest casting director, Maxine Mosley, she actually cast me out of everybody. And the first day, it was like boom. And my agent called me, says, "Are you sitting down? You got cast as Johnny Most, the iconic Celtics announcer."
Yeah.
Because of my voice. Like everybody thinks I'm the jerk, but they're the real jerks. And so I memorized his monologues and the audition and did all this stuff and just boom, I got it. I couldn't believe it. People asked me, I'm out on a premiere, and they said, "How you did Johnny? How did you do that? How did you get it?" I said, "Because I studied him. I watched tape on him. I memorized his monologue. All his mannerisms, his tonality, everything." And I even, I put my glasses on into my nose because I had a much bigger nose than I did. And so they go, oh, is that why? I said, "You didn't study him?" "No, I didn't put up with myself." You can't do that. For a real person, you have to impersonate. You have to study them. And that's why I got the other thing, doing John Carpenter on this other movie. Because people realize, oh, you do real people. Well, I want you in my thing. So now it's starting to percolate. People are going,
yes. Well, your career is sure off in the direction that I've seen during the Lake Erie days. I was like, this guy is special. And of course, when I started to get to know you more, trust me, when I got to know you more, hung out with you, I was like, oh my God. And that's the reason why I wrote, the caretaker for you, because you that had the essence I was looking for. And most importantly, I subscribed to HBO just so I could watch Winning Time because you're in it. Only reason why I got into it. And actually, it became a really good show. I was kind of addicted to it.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm still waiting for that one. You got to catch me before I die.
Yes.
Because I can't be,
Come on. But I have faith. And it's been during different little things, but trust me, it's still it's percolating. Let's put it that way.
All right.
Yeah.
Because I know you have me playing the caretaker of the cemetery, but I don't want to be in the cemetery.
No.
As one
can,
of the,
can I just make you AI and use you afterwards?
Back that way, yeah, that's right. But anyway, I don't think
live on for eternity.
Yeah, I just I don't want people to think that I think I'm special. I just try real hard. Everything I do, I take it.
You're a very good actor.
So I do. On the set, people are clowning around. I go in a corner somewhere and study my lines. And I'm not being antisocial. I just do it right. And after I finish, then I can be social and clown around. But I'm always very serious when I do a movie. And I've got like 4 or 5. Now I'm playing. My God, of all things, I'm really proud of this. I just played Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers in a TV series called Horrorverse. Jason Voorhees Awakening. You can catch it. It's free on YouTube. You go to Jason Voorhees The Awakening, and I'm in one of the episodes as their father. And I'm this kindly old man that lives in the woods by himself. And then I meet this young girl, has their fishing pole tangled up, and everybody thinks, oh, what a nice old guy. And then they finally realize he's the devil. So that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And it's really good. These guys up in Seattle, Aaron Carlson is a director, and Chuck Larson's one of the producers. And you got a great cast up in the Northwest, up and around Seattle, Tacoma area. I was so overjoyed to work with those people because they really know how to do it. And people act up there. Well, yeah, they're great actors too. And they don't have this Hollywood personality that goes along with it. They're just straight shooters. And I love that. So they're going to bring me back up there, and I'm going to play Freddy Krueger's father as well. So,
nice.
Wow.
Yeah, so this year, so all three of them. I'm the father of all three. Don't ask me how they put that together, but they got a backstory you wouldn't believe. It's unbelievable. So,
And the name
It
of that
sounds
movie again?
interesting.
yeah, it's just I just fell into it. I don't know how they found me, but they did, and
Oh, the grapevine, man. They heard about you.
like that.
You're a living legend, Larry.
No,
You're a
I
living legend.
thank
Yes, you are.
I don't think of myself as that. I work with some legends, but I've been fortunate enough to do that. But anyway, I'm back in the '80s, with Jerry Mason and all that, all those guys, Raymond Burr, and then 30 years later, I did another Jerry Mason. They brought me in
With Jessica.
Yeah, that was 30-year arc. I mean, it was full circle.
Mhm.
And, but Richard Chamberlain, my God, I met him just the other day at an old timers convention. And I told him, my camera wasn't working when we took pictures together for Dream West.
And you finally got that picture?
Now, so I got one on my wall with Richard. I said, I played your Calvary offers. And he looked at me like, oh my God. And so it was a great But, Robert Duvall, oh God, I can't remember. Robert Duvall? No, Robert.
Yeah.
I can't remember. You can look it up on the Perry Mason thing I did. I can't remember his last name, but he was the editor. He was pretty famous in his own right. So anyway, I just been fortunate. Lately, I've done 3 pictures with, the guy that was in Mel Gibson's The Road Warrior with the spiked hair on top of the car.
Yeah.
Vernon Wells. Well, I was lucky enough
to
see movies with him. And so anyway, unfortunately, his house was one of the ones that was lost in the Palisades fire. Very sad.
Yeah, I was reading about that. It's
yeah, a lot of people lost their homes up there. Most celebrities up in Palisades, but Altadena too.
But thank God yours didn't get. You're not in no way of harm. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're a different part of the world down here. Well, we're close to the ocean. I thought we're pretty safe because it's more humid. But guess what? Pacific Palisades is close to the ocean. They're even closer than I am. I'm a mile away. I can see it from my house. The bay, we overlook the bay, but still, we're not on the water. And Malibu is right on the water. That whole row down on Highway 1 was destroyed, completely demolished. So it's very sad. I haven't even gone up to look at it, but it's just because there's too much traffic as it is, And,
I think one of the iconic houses that was there for some films and stuff got destroyed too. I can't remember the name of it.
I wouldn't doubt it. So it's just anyway, but I got a million stories to tell about Double D and a lot of other movies I was in. I don't know how much time you have, but just you can ask away about anything. And I wanted to point out that I was in Bill Winkler's about 50 different anime projects. I did the voices for a lot of those characters, in which especially the Ultraman. Back in was it in the 80s or something, or even before that? And
I voiced Ultraman back in the 80s.
I did all of them.
Right.
Did Ultra Father, Ultra 7. I did Dr. Garuman, one of the friendly monsters. And then an unfriendly one was a Telgar, really vicious one. And then I did the Raoul brothers in The Fist of the North Star. And that was really hard on my voice. I couldn't speak for 2 weeks after that. Strained my voice to do both because they're really deep, and I had to do it for an hour each time. That was tough, but got to make.
Do you have any special exercises you do for your throat before you prepare for a part like that?
I didn't. I was doing it on a lunch hour and a break in between my jobs, and I worked as a teacher for a long time. And I came in and just did it, and then went back. And so I used my voice a lot as a teacher. So that was tough. But there are a lot of stories about my voice. Strangely enough, I just went to an anime show, and the kids were more interested in the latest stuff I've done. Kind of like
really,
I see if I could find it. I have it here somewhere. The last thing I've ever done in my voiceover resume. See if I can find it here. It was. No, I don't have a complete one here, unfortunately, but I think it was something about JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. I play an elderly man who becomes a big bad wolf, and now it's like very current. And I did another one called Lupin the Third, Part 6, and that's very popular. They were more interested in that than anything else I could have done, you know. And way, way, way back, you know, they couldn't even relate to them, you know. But I had a lot of fun, with all these different things, and you know, and I was even in Zombrex Dead Rising Sun, which is kind of a video game of sorts with voiceovers. But anyway,
now see, that's something I didn't know about you. Doing voiceovers to video games, as much video games as I play, I didn't know that about you. I learned something new.
Yeah, I was in the very first video game ever. It was called
which was that?
Blind Date. I did it with a man who, it was just a boy at the time. He was a very young man in USC, University of Southern California. And I was working with him doing these little short projects. And he says, I want to make a video game. And I think you'd be the perfect hope because you like changing characters. I like creating characters. I like the preparation even better than the performance sometimes. So I did all these things with different clothes, different accents, different mannerisms. And I'd come out and say, you're an idiot. You went the wrong way. You should have done the other way. You could have got the girl. And it was just, and then they did so much that was it Rolling Stone bought it, and then they produce it. It was somebody like that. And then they sold it.
I gotta look that up.
Check it out. It's called Blind Date. And I don't know if I got a credit.
See, I'm the guy playing games and doing the wrong thing all the time.
Yeah, so
I can't even get the games to start anymore. It's too many. Like, hey, press this button, press that button, do this, left, right, trigger. You know what? Let me just put in a quarter and hit one player, and then I'm good.
Yeah, that sounds like me with my cell phone. I can't even work that. I always hand it to a young guy. I said, could you please help me? Because I'm an idiot. You know, I'm senile. They're like, oh, I'm sorry. That's all right. It comes with the territory. But anyway.
So, gee, if there was one film of yours that stands out in your lexicon of work, let's end it with what that was and a quick story about.
All right. Yeah, I could tell you several, but I'll tell you one that stands out, which was horrifying. I was in a movie called Aftermath. It was a short film by a young fellow, and you could look that up too for the credits, but it was the end of the world. And I was being held hostage in these dog kennels. And it was this breeding farm or something for these pit bulls. And the dogs were removed, thank God. But you know what they left behind? Ticks about that big around. So I'm in there, handcuffed, with my hands tied behind my back. And I see something crawling up my leg. I'm going, what the hell is it? It's a tick! And I'm like, shit, I can't shoo it off. And I'm covered with them. And I thought, I'm going to be bled to death, and nobody's coming for me. I'm screaming. And they just left me there. And that was one of the most horrifying things. I mean, of all the things I could, for every movie I could write a story about. I've got 343 films. And about 44 of them haven't come out yet. I got 299 credits.
I'm one of them, probably.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I was looking up your IMDb earlier, and it only has like 290 credits on it. Yeah,
actually 220 some odd movies, but TV shows and everything else.
Right,
it puts me over 300, but they've never come out. You know, and I'm not going to mention names because I'll get in trouble. But you can figure out who the
Hey,
director.
I'm working. I'm telling
Mhm.
So, but anyway, people do them, and then I don't know, they end up under their bed in the closet or what, and that's some of them. But some of them are highly respected directors who just
Right.
are on a roll. They're doing a lot of movies, and I think they're stopped short by saying, they're trying to get a distributor, and the distributor says, you got to clean this up. It's going to cost about $25,000. Like, so then they got to get more. They do an Indigo, or a Kickstarter thing to get
Right.
I hate that. So.
and it's kind of slow getting that. And as soon as they clean it up, they get the post production, they get the audio, the colorization, the tonality, whatever it is. All these things they do, then it's ready. So some are ready to come out, and so I'm waiting for that 300th one. Come on, Jeff, you could do it. Put me on 300. Put me over the top.
I thought for sure with all the Clown Motel movies you've been doing, you've already hit that.
Well, that's another story. I don't want to get into politics, but
I'm not trying to start shit. Literally, I'm not. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's an epic battle.
I've been down that road before. Trust me. I'm like,
it's in the court.
All right.
It's in the court of law right now. They're suing.
Yeah.
You.
Well, gee, thanks for coming on the program again. Anytime you want to come and talk about anything, it's awesome to speak to you, to hear the stories and hear the brushes with greatness that you've had. And now I can say, I am like 6 degrees of separation from Eric Roberts. So, he's one of my favorites. I would love to meet Eric Roberts.
Oh, okay.
And
next time I'm with him, I'll mention you.
I do. I love Eric Roberts and everything he's in. And there's just some actors where you don't see them a lot, but when you do that, you really enjoy their work. And yours is one of those. And yeah, and I really appreciate the time. And if you're interested in the sealed copies of the Double D Avengers, we will have the link down in the show notes. That is the link on your screen there. You can find it in the description. It is on the Geek and I Shop website. So anytime you want to come on and shill anything you got,
okay,
we're here for you, buddy. We really appreciate all your time. And if you can, for December, I know we're getting close.
We're getting close.
So if you can send Santa another message for us to give us
to him. I'll send a dog sled up to notify him. So he's in the Arctic Circle. But anyway, quick story. I mean, like 30 seconds. Eric Roberts and I played brothers in Desert Fiends, and he's a deaf mute. He doesn't say a word. He just like, and people come up and ask us directions, and we point them in different directions for fun, and they get killed and stuff. And so I play this translator. I'm his brother. There's 3 of us: Carl Sullivan, myself, and Eric. We're the 3 brothers at a gas station. So I said, look, don't be scared, folks. He won't harm you. He's harmless. But I'm going to translate what he says. And then I tell him what he's saying. And it's so hilarious what he does and we do together. And I thought, I can die now. I technically Eric and Julia. I haven't seen Emma yet, but maybe someday. So anyway, that's his piece.
If you ever see Maud Adams, tell her Jeff Dickinson says hi, and she's more than welcome to be on the Geek and I show. Okay?
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to find her, but maybe some strip
work on it.
And if the sequel comes out to Double D Avenger,
you'll be the first to know.
John and Jeff's ready to go.
Be
Yeah.
ready.
Only on the chick scenes for me, man.
We'll put you in it. I'm serious. Mr. Lobo is going to be in it. And
I'll give a hand raise for the
maybe
spanking.
Count Paul and a few others. They're waiting patiently. So anyway, thanks so much. I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you, and thanks Jeff for coming out and hanging out again. We will see you guys on the next episode of The Geek and I. Jeff, what do you got coming up on your channel?
Video games. Well, you get stuck in. I do some unboxings too. So, video game and
video.
books.
Okay. All right.
I mix it up.
See you at the movies.
I need to go out and about. Huh?
Yeah, you need to go do something.
I do.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. We will talk to you guys.
To G. Larry's house.
Yeah, we're all coming to your house, G.
Okay.
We'll do a live show.
All righty. Well, I'll be there soon.
And we'll talk to you next time on the Geek and I podcast. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys very, very soon.
Till next time. Later.